Completed then, both national anthems, the German and the Russian. And our referee for this match, old friend of mine, Terry O'Connor, former Midlands area champion as a heavyweight.
Sein Rekord als Profi 38 Kämpfe, 32 Siege, davon 21 durch K.O., ein Unentschieden. Ist die Nummer 10 der WBA und WBO Weltrangliste. In seiner Ecke Toni Künzel, Katman, Christoph Busch, Ted Lackner und sein Trainer Dieter Wittmann aus Süßen. Der Herausforderer des Europameisters, The Lion, Firat Arslan!
Very much a favourite here in Germany, Steve.
Absolutely. I can't see them going home happy, though.
No, he really has got his work cut out tonight.
31 Jahre alt, 1,88 Meter groß, 90,0 Kilogramm schwer. Sein Rekord als Profi, 25 Kämpfe, 23 Siege, davon 20 durch K.O. Er ist die Nummer 3 der WBO, die Nummer 5 der WBC und die Nummer 7 der WBA und IBF Weltrangliste. In seiner Ecke Bülent Başar, Oktay Okal und Fritz Dunek aus Hamburg. Der EBO-Europameister, The Russian Fire, Aleksandr Alekseyev. Ich darf Ihnen die Offiziellen vorstellen. Ringrichter Terry O'Connor. Punktrichter Jürgen Langos, Arno Pokrant und Manuel Olivier Palomo. Supervisor Jean-Marcel Naatz und Eduardo Cecoli.
Here we go, gents. Here we go. I spoke to you both in the changing room. You know what I ask of you? Protect yourself at all.
So here we go, then 12 rounds potentially in front of us between two southpaws to decide the destination of the vacant European cruiserweight title. And I won't mention the WBO because that's small beer to me, but Alekseyev comes into the ring as the reigning European Union champion. He beat a tough guy by the name of Enad Lechina last time out on point over 12 rounds in Frankfurt. So Enad Lechina beaten by Alekseyev, and you know, he's more of a handful I think these days than Arslan is, but like you said, Glenn, this could be the last of the dice really for Firat Arslan. He's 5 feet 11 and a half inches tall. His opponent, the Russian, is 6 feet 2. Will that make much of a difference? I don't know.
Now you name it, Steve. Arslan can, Alekseyev can do it. He can box, he can move and bang. You know, he can also bang. So this guy brings everything to the table.
Yes, indeed. He has lost a couple. Worth mentioning those. He was knocked out, as I say, in a couple of rounds by Denis Lebedev, who's a bit special. And then Ramirez, of course, he retired against him in 9 rounds. Arslan, on his best performance, will probably be a match here for Alekseyev. Got to say, also in the corner of Alekseyev was Fritz Dunek. Now Fritz was a former Olympian for Germany, and I think he actually won the gold medal. Although my memory is failing fast. So it's like a ram fight, this, isn't it? Both lads head to head.
Yep, you stick some antlers on and they'll be well away. But
yeah, 2 solid cruiserweights, these lads. That's a nice right there from Alekseyev, and that one hurt Arslan.
His leg stiffened a little bit then, Steve.
And don't forget, of course, at 41 years of age, the ability to take a shot is not what it was 10 years ago, by no means. Well, it looks like we're in for a right old head-to-head here between these two men. And I don't mind that one little bit, Glenn. Now, is this just a money spinner for Arslan, or is it a genuine attempt to become champion again? Don't forget, of course, he's former German champion, European Union champion, which is what Alekseyev is at the moment, and former world WBA cruiserweight champion. And I think he made 10 defences of that. Yes, he made 10 defences of the WBA crown, so, you know, he had a very, very good run. So, looks like Alekseyev is the more hurtful puncher of the two. Although that said, you know, we're seeing Arslan here begin to switch in the uppercut. Well, the end of the first round, and I think the power punches came from Alekseyev, and as a result, Glenn, I'm going for him.
Yeah, I have to agree with that, Steve. Just, you know, the more eye-catching shots were coming from him. But, you know, he nicked it, but very, very close. You know, both fighters just sort of plodding forward, their hands very hard. Like you say, at times you could have quite easily stuck some antlers on both of them, because that's what it looked like.
Well, Alekseyev couldn't have it any better, could he? He's got two Olympic champions in his corner with him, Firat Arslan and Oktay Erkal. But don't forget himself, you know, he was a very, very good amateur. Cracking record. He's managed by Erkal, by the way. Bit of replay here from the opening round, and was that the moment when he took a stumble?
Yeah, just more or less caught him off balance more than anything else. He wasn't hurt from it.
Another win, by the way, on the Alekseyev record worth a mention. He beat Lee Swaby in 2006. I think Lee became British champion. Yep, ice on the canvas. Here we go, round two.
And head-to-head straight away, Steve.
I didn't like the way there that Alekseyev turned in that right hand. It looked like it landed thumb first, and that's very dangerous for your thumbs. I know they're attached these days to the glove, the thumb. You can't get someone in the eye anymore like you used to be able to do, Glenn. Do you remember those days?
Certainly do, Steve, certainly do. And I've been on the receiving end more than once myself. But what used to be, you know, sometimes bending your thumb back, you know, can be very, very painful.
Tell me about it. So Firat Arslan in the black shorts in action here at, against Aleksandr Alekseyev. And don't forget, of course, the major title on the line here is the European Cruiserweight Championship.
Now, being up close and personal as it is, and it has been in the first, and certainly so far in the second, Steve, you would think that this would certainly suit Arslan better. Being the smaller guy, this kind of fight would suit him better. But, you know, only time will tell.
But I get the impression that Alekseyev was the man who came out and decided, okay, if that's the way you want it, that's the way you'll get it.
That's right.
You know, he could stand back and box this guy's head off all night. And I don't think Arslan expected this, did he?
As you say, he's the bigger man. You'd expect him to come out and try and keep Arslan on the end of his long leaf jab, but he's not. As you say, he's come to choose out and meet fire with fire and stand head to head and trade with him.
Yeah, and looks like Alekseyev wants to beat Arslan at his own game. Yes, this is pretty typical Firat Arslan. I haven't seen a great deal of Alekseyev. I saw him early on. But it is the kind of fight that you'd anticipate Alekseyev winning at long range. But as I said, quite happy to go head-to-head here with Arslan.
If it's the right thing to do, Steve, at this moment in time, we're going to have to just wait and see. The beauty of Alekseyev, that we know that he can change the tempo of the fight. He can change the style of fight if he chooses to do just that. Maybe he's thinking, you know, Arslan being 41 years old, if he sort of pushes on him and makes him push a little bit, maybe he's going to drain the energy out of the 41-year-old legs. Who knows what's going through his mind?
Yes, and as you can see, Alekseyev is a very decent technician. I don't think there was much in that round, Glenn.
Well, Alekseyev, for me, just nicking it.
So Alekseyev then just nicking the second round, having won the first, and we've got him 2 in front now. There are potentially, of course, 10 to go, and already working on the nose here of Firat Arslan. An uppercut possibly made that one start leaking a bit of blood. Bit of replay coming up. Round 2. Yes, and you get the impression, don't you, that Alekseyev, if he were to switch to a long-range fight, he could pop off Arslan's head all night.
If ever you were to draw a cartoon character to look actually like a boxer, then I think Arslan would be a great guy to base.
Absolutely right. If anyone looked like a fighter, he does. So round 3. Referee Terry O'Connor clears the ring, gets them out for action. So just remind you once again, Firat Arslan in the black shorts in action here against a very decent Russian, Aleksandr Alekseyev.
Both fighters, though, Steve, choosing to throw, you know, mostly headshots. Not an awful lot of body shots going in from either fighter, although it's still at, you know, very, very close range.
Yes, very few, isn't there? Very few body shots when they're right there. But I've got a feeling here, like Alexeyev's tactics are, if you chop the tree often enough, it will fall. Doesn't have to be one big shot, just lots of little chops. So an all-southpaw clash here, despite the fact that Arslan does switch now and then to left-hand forward. And they used to say, Glenn, didn't they, that southpaws were horrible and ugly to watch. But I tell you what, this isn't bad at all.
It really is very, 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 very interesting. But it's Arslan, you know, he seems to be on the back foot more, you know, more prominently than Alekseyev. And that's interesting at this stage of the fight.
Don't forget, of course, that Firat Arslan has the experience of being a former world champion. And, of course, he wants to get back there.
He certainly does. A couple of cheeky, nice little uppercut shots going in there.
What's it? What's it?
I think Terry O'Connor might need a translator out there. Well, nice bit of work again from Alekseyev. Well, bit of work there again from Arslan. Getting through on target. I don't think he has the power, though, to upset Alekseyev here. Glenn.
Well, I agree. I think he has got the power. I think, you know, Alekseyev perhaps is the bigger punch of the two. But make no mistake, I think if some of these shots, if they catch correctly on the chin, they're going to hurt him. He's not that much of a light puncher. His record would suggest that.
Yes, for the record, by the way, Alekseyev has won 23-20 inside. He's lost 2 in 25 outings. Arslan's won 32-21 inside. He's lost 5 with 2 stoppages inside the distance and drawn 1 in 38. Well, I think Arslan's nicked the round.
Dead even for me, see that one?
Well, I've still got Aleksandr Alekseyev a round in front with 3 gone now. And you've got to wonder how much Arslan has got left at this stage at 41 years of age. You know, having been there, got the T-shirt, you know, been a world champion, been a European Union champion, been a German champion. He's kind of done it all, really, Glenn, hasn't he?
He certainly has. But this style of fight, the way it's going, it's going to suit Arslan down to the ground because it's not at a fast pace. He's there in front of him. You know, as we know, as we get older, we lose our hand speed. And, you know, he doesn't have to show much hand speed because the opponent is literally 6 inches away from the whole duration of every round.
Seconds out. Ringfrei Runde 4, Round 4.
Here we go. Here we go.
So round 4, and don't forget, of course, we're looking at the vacant European Union Cruiserweight title. Black, Firat Arslan. And, of course, in the blue shorts, we have Aleksandr Alekseyev of Russia. So, a Turk based in Germany against a Russian based in Germany. Don't forget, of course, Alekseyev comes from Hamburg way up on the northwest coast, whereas Arslan comes from the south of Germany in Bayern. Or should that be Bayern? So we are, of course, in round 4. And not a great deal to pick between them at the moment. Although, having said that, I've got a 1-point lead for Alekseyev coming into this round. Glenn, how have you got it?
I've got a 2-point lead for Alekseyev.
And you do wonder, don't you, at what point will Alekseyev say to himself, well, I've done enough of the head-to-head, so I'm going to get on my bike now and start boxing and win this at long range.
Only time's going to tell, Steve. I mean, at least he has the ability to do. We know he has the ability to do just that. You know, that's perhaps one thing that he's got over Arslan, because he has that ability to change the style of the fight.
Yeah, and Arslan doesn't.
I'm afraid not.
Well, nice bit of work there.
Yeah, switching it nice to the body and the head, rocking the head back there of Alekseyev. A very, very intense physical fight and a grueling match, Steve.
Indeed it is. Scheduled for 12, of course, and they've both done that plenty of times in the past. So the distance is not a problem. So Alekseyev, they're looking to add the bigger portion of the European title to his smaller portion of the European Union title. Actually, I've got a feeling I might have to correct myself here. I do believe, in fact, that Alekseyev is the reigning European champion at cruiserweight. And I believe that this WBO title that's also on the line, the Intercontinental version,
it's vacant.
It's vacant, that's right. I'm sorry if I misled anybody there. I'm sure I did. Well, come on, Glenn. Give me your verdict on this round.
Well, again, nothing really to tell from. If I was to go one way or the other, I think I have to give this to Arslan.
Okay. Well, I'll go with you on that, despite the fact that I felt. In fact, I'm going to call that a level round, actually. I hope you don't mind. Still got Alekseyev a point in front. Glenn, you got him a point in front as well.
I have indeed now, Steve. Yes.
So, a bit of replay then from the 4th session. And I just wonder how much we'll get out of this. Yeah, good work from the pair of them.
It certainly was. And the alarming thing is for me, Steve, that is Alekseyev is only 1 point ahead going into the 5th round. I was expecting him to be, you know, three or four, you know, if not every round ahead so far.
Yeah, but the reason, of course, for that, Glenn, is he's giving Arslan opportunities by boxing the way he is.
Absolutely right. You know, he's boxing Arslan's fight. He's there. He's up close. He's personal. He's not using his biggest assets, which is his size, his length, and his experience. You know, his amateur experience.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
So here we go then, round 5. So Arslan, well, he's obviously buoyed up by the simple fact that he's had success here. But you get the impression that that success he's had, he's almost been gifted, Glenn, don't you?
Yeah.
Or do you?
At times he looks like a throwback, you know, just there's nothing dynamic about, nothing exceptional, just solid.
Well, I never thought I'd ever see the day when Arslan actually annexed a world title. You know, he was just one of those guys. But, of course, he did. He went on and did very well. Beat Valery Brudov, of course, to become the interim champion. And then Virgil Hill, of course, to become the WBA champion proper. So, you know, he beat a genuine fighter. Well, looks like we're getting to the point now when Alekseyev's going to get a bit of room here. And just as I say that, he closes the gap again. And then opens it again. What's he playing at? Well, chopping left hand there from Arslan.
And again, these cheeky little uppercuts, they take the toll, they sap you, they frustrate you, they irritate you. And as I say, you know, Arslan, those 41-year-old legs are not being made to work tonight, you know, because he's not really covering any ground. He's there.
Yeah, this is a comfortable distance, really, I think, for Arslan, isn't it?
It
Don't forget,
certainly is.
I mean, he's 10 years older than his opponent, who's only 31.
That's right.
Which is a good age for a cruiserweight.
Now, if Alekseyev was moving around, making Arslan, you know, making him move also, that's going to drain the 41-year-old legs. But he's not. He's standing there in front of him.
Yes, this is a pretty simple way, really, for Arslan to fight, and pretty enjoyable when you're 41 years of age, like Glenn has already said. Well, I think Alekseyev is going to have to start boxing at range. He might just enjoy himself over the first half a dozen rounds doing this. But what it's showing, Glenn, is that Alekseyev does have the ability, you know, to fight at close range if he wants to.
He does show that, Steve, but again, is it showing the lack of experience? Why didn't he use his biggest strengths, you know? I think Alekseyev, for me, just nicked that.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. So Alekseyev then 2 up for me, Glenn.
Yeah, 2 over me, 37-30, sorry, 47-49, yep, you're dead right, Steve.
Yep, same as me. You've not been copying me, have you? So a bit of replay here then, and there's no doubt about it. You know, Arslan got through with some pretty useful shots in that 5th round, but I think overall, Aleksandr Alekseyev emerged victorious, albeit closely.
Seconds out, ring frei, Runde 6, Round 6.
Here we go. Here we go.
So round 6 it is, and we're looking at Aleksandr Alekseyev coming out to face Firat Arslan. So don't forget, of course, Alekseyev defending his European Cruiserweight title and looking to take the vacant WBO Intercontinental Cruiserweight title with it.
Arslan coming straight out in this round, Steve, wasting no time, getting some heavy shots off straight away from the body and the head. And once again, I believe, trying to stamp his authority on this fight.
Well, Alekseyev got quite a lot of lateral movement there. Of course, you can't duck everything. You can't slip, bob and weave to constantly make him. Well, he can. Some fighters can, can't they? Look at Roy Jones.
Yes.
Well, he used to be able to. Harold Graham. And I also get the impression here that Alekseyev, you know, he can hit pretty hard, but he's not showing it yet. He's knocked out 20 men in 23 victories. Maybe he thinks that Arslan's not going to be one of them. Full marks, though, to Arslan, Glenn, because, you know, 41 years of age, this is not a young man's game anymore, is it?
It certainly is.
I know 41 isn't chronologically old, but to be boxing at this level, at this age, you know, that takes some doing.
It certainly does. And, you know, to be a former world champion, coming back and fighting, trying to win it back, take my hat off to him, you know, full credit to him, because, you know, he's coming here, make no mistake, he's coming here tonight to win this fight. And, you know, it's so far it's pretty much 50-50. There's not an awful lot at this moment in time, Steve.
Well, Alekseyev doesn't want to make sure this one's too close, because he hasn't been in this country as long as Arslan. You know, and I suspect that if there's any sympathies going, they're going to go his way. Nice bit of work here from the pair of them. Good shots. Hard to pick between them here, Glenn, isn't it?
It certainly is. And again, I think this is a downfall of Alekseyev. If he wanted to, he could box this fight up. He could make this fight so much easier than what he's actually making it for himself tonight.
Yes, I don't think Arslan believed that Alekseyev would come out and box like this. I think he must have felt that this was going to be a right chase all night.
Yes. But he must think all his birthdays have come at once.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I'm going to call that another level round. And
yes.
That's ludicrous.
Yes, I have to agree with you, Steve. There's nothing to between each two fighters.
Now, will we see a change in tactics here from Alekseyev? Will he start boxing at long range, or will this man enjoy himself on the inside? Bit of replay coming up then. And once again, I think they were pretty much punch to punch in round 6. And this could be, by the way, if it's not a win for Arslan, it could be a swan song. So round 7 it is, the halfway point. 6 gone, 6 to go. Now, just to remind you, we're looking at the smaller of these two men in the black shorts, Firat Arslan. And he is challenging to take Aleksandr Alekseyev's European Cruiserweight title. And in the bargain, the vacant WBO Intercontinental Cruiserweight title also on the line. Glenn Catley and I have got it 59-57 in favour of Alekseyev, although it's been a very close, hard-fought battle so far, and mostly at very close quarters like this. It's an all-southpaw match, and it's nip and tuck, Glenn.
It certainly is. There's absolutely nothing to tell, you know, to judge between these two at this moment. Very, very close, Steve. Very, very close. And dare I say it, the crowd tonight, they've certainly got their money's worth so far.
Absolutely right.
An interesting turn that you may have noticed, Steve. Earlier on, it was Alekseyev on the on the back foot. Now it's Arslan. He seems to be on the back foot more so than anything else.
Yes, I've got a feeling here that Alekseyev beginning to inject a bit of power.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit of venom into his shots, and perhaps now, you know, Arslan just starting to feel the power from Alekseyev just a little bit now.
Yeah, that 41-year-old body beginning to feel the pressure.
Maybe some telltale signs of the worm just starting to turning a little bit.
Oh, nice triple left hook there from Arslan. Head and body. And this is so un-Germanic, isn't it? This from the pair of them. You know, we are looking at a man with Turkish descent against a guy from Russia. And once again, Alekseyev plants home some good-looking shots. That said, Arslan is still with him.
He's certainly at times, Steve, meeting fire with fire.
And what does it mean to this fight, the fact that Arslan's a former world cruiserweight champion? And he's loving this.
He's having a ball, Steve, and likewise the crowd are loving it too.
But, you know, you've still got to wonder at what point when Alekseyev take the safer route and do this at long range. A very good boxer, isn't he?
Incredibly, when he wants to.
Oh, here he goes, here he goes. Well, I tell you what, that was a very close round yet again. Glenn, I'm going to go for Alekseyev.
Do you know what, Steve? I'm looking at Alekseyev's legs going back to the corner. They didn't look that. They looked a little bit wobbly. It might be just
Alekseyev or
Alekseyev. His leg just looked a little bit shaky walking back to the corner then.
Well, that was another almightily close round, but you know, hey, I'm fed up with going evens. So another round in the bag then, as far as I'm concerned, for Alekseyev. Here he is. As I say, he's got Fritz Zdunek in his corner, a former Olympic champion, and Oktay Erkal, another Olympic champion. I think that was in 1996, if I remember rightly, when we were in Atlanta. So here we are then, round 8. So, round 8. Now, I'll be very honest with you, Glenn, I'll be more than happy to see the whole fight fought like this, but I can't imagine it will be. There's got to come a time when Alekseyev says, right, that's enough of the punch-up, I'm going to box this guy's ears off.
Well, we've only 5 rounds to go, Steve. I thought we would have seen that by now, but I think the whole pattern of the fight is going to continue as it has been so far.
I think you're right. Although slightly more evasive here now, Alekseyev. See how much easier it is for him when he does it at arm's length.
That's right, and I'm surprised with the amount of experience he's got in his corner. They're not saying to him, listen, keep this guy on into that nice long jab. When he comes in, twos and threes, keep him away. Don't let him settle.
Well, big swiping left hand there from Arslan, then a good body shot. Well, all the success really that Arslan gets, he's being given. And this will be a huge scalp for Alekseyev, were he able to take it. Don't forget, of course, he did beat Enad Lechina on point over 12 rounds. Another tough man. And we always knew that Alekseyev was cut out for big things.
Well, I just sense a little turn in the tide here. I just think that Arslan just seems to be growing a little bit of confidence. And just a few distress signals for my liking from Alekseyev, Steve.
Interesting, Glenn. Well, this is a very interesting round now, because we're looking at Alekseyev grabbing a bit of room, but still getting, I believe, beaten in this round. Come on, Glenn, help me out here.
Yeah, Steve, listen, I think he's doing all the better work. Look at these shots, and Alekseyev just simply not getting out of the way of them. And I think there's a little turn in the tide here, like I just said a minute ago. I said to you, he walked back to the corner on wobbly legs. I think he was hurt in the last round, Steve. Maybe from a shot we didn't see, but I think he went back on wobbly legs. Make no mistake about that.
Well, to be honest, I didn't notice the legs. I wasn't looking. But this is a good round now for Arslan.
Just a few, like I said, just a few distress signals now from coming from Alekseyev.
And too late there for Alekseyev to make a difference in that round. So it closes the gap, 78, 70.
77.
76 for me. You've got a point difference for Alekseyev. I've got him 2 in front, and I don't think, and I'll say this again, I don't think there'll be any sympathy for Alekseyev, because he hasn't lived in Germany as long as this man, despite the fact they're not both German nationals.
That's right.
One's a Russian, one's a Turk.
That's right. But they classify him. They classify him here as a German.
Yeah, but don't forget, of course, Arslan was born. He was born in Friedberg in Bayern, in the south of Germany. So he was actually born in Germany,
yes,
despite having Turkish descent. But Alekseyev is a Russian, despite the fact he lives in Hamburg. And Uzbekistan, I believe, was part of the Soviet Union when he was born 30-odd years ago.
Well, the next 4 rounds for me is going to be very interesting, because I just sense a little turn in the tide there, Steve.
In favour of
Arslan. He was looking the stronger of the two. There's a few distress signals for my liking coming from Alekseyev.
Well, I've got Alekseyev 2 up coming into this round, but do you know what? If it was the other way around, it wouldn't surprise me in the least. Glenn?
100%. We've seen it, the decision earlier on, Steve. We've seen what happened earlier on. We've seen the wrong decision go in the fight previously.
Yeah, that was just a bad decision, I think. This one, you know, is still open to interpretation, isn't it?
It certainly is, you know. But look at Arslan now, just growing in confidence.
He's loving it.
He's having a ball, and like I say, Alekseyev just simply not getting out the way of these shots, which you would expect him to do with the amateur pedigree that he's got.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Glenn, I'm loving it too. Nip and tuck, punch for punch. O'Connor there, referee Terry O'Connor telling Alekseyev not to push. Well, I tell you something, this is fascinating.
It certainly is. Arslan, for me, just growing in confidence.
Well, I remember seeing Arslan right at the very beginning of his professional career, you know, back in 1997, and I never thought for a moment he'd get to what he got, but he's done it. And, you know, here he is at 41 years of age, Glenn, and he's boxing like a teenager.
He certainly is. You've got to give credit for him for doing just that. You know, he's 41 years of age. He's been there, he's done it, and he dare I say, he's still doing it now.
Oh, and he's doing well here.
He certainly is. At times here, he's giving, you know, Alekseyev a boxing lesson.
Well, I tell you something, Alekseyev cannot afford defeat here. He'll lose his European crown. And, you know, he thinks he's on the verge of a world title shot at 31 years of age. Well, we can see with Arslan, that's not too late by any means. Well, watch your heads, he says, Terry O'Connor. But, you know, the last thing, of course, Alekseyev wants at this stage is to rebuild, to get back to this position. Oops, that's another stumble there. No count. So, you know, we're looking at a cracking little fight here from these two. But I think, tactically, I think Alekseyev has got it wrong.
He certainly has. You know, he's thrown this fight away by boxing a completely, you know, wrong fight. And I'm amazed that this has happened, Steve, because the amount of experience they've got with two former Olympic champions in the corner. Why they sent him out to stand toe-to-toe and trade with Arslan? Why have they done that? Big mistakes.
Yes, another close-ish round, but I think Arslan's nicked it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you again, Steve.
Well, Alekseyev for points in front at 87-86, but with 3 to go.
I got it dead even now, Steve, 87-87.
Fascinating contest, this one. Two good men, two good fighters, and a very attractive match. So Luan Krasniqi, can he get some sense into these two? He's a mate of Arslan's. And we've got to forget, of course, that Luan was a former European champion.
Seconds out, ringfrei, Runde 10, Round 10.
Here we go.
So round 10 then of the scheduled 12. And a fascinating contest here. Don't forget, of course, the European cruiserweight title still very much in the balance, because it's round the waist at the moment of Aleksandr Alekseyev, who may be about to lose it to Firat Arslan. Glenn Catley, put me out of my misery. Where am I seeing this right?
No, I think you're 100% right, Steve. You know, Arslan's come out there. He must think all his birthdays have come at once, because no doubt he was coming here tonight thinking he's going to, you know, at times perhaps be outboxed with the experience that, you know, Alekseyev has got. But Alekseyev has come out. He's chose to stand there toe-to-toe and basically have a war with Arslan. Now, if it's the right thing, I don't think so, because at this moment in time, for me, Alekseyev has drawn it back. It's dead even, and he's holding his own and going above and beyond.
And you also get the impression that Alexeyev's corner have thought of themselves, well, he's 41 years of age, Arslan. He can't do this for 12 rounds. But I tell you what, he might be able to.
He certainly is. He's holding his own more, you know, going above and beyond, like I say, at this moment in time. He's holding his own, and at times, well, he's having the better exchange, like we're seeing again now, Steve. He's having the better exchange. He looks the fresher. He looks the younger man at times.
Indeed. We saw an all-southpaw contest then between these two, and it's been an absolute cracker. My kind of fight, Glenn.
And like you say, Steve, we must just remind ourselves, he's 10 years older than Alekseyev. 10 years is a long time. That's a big gap.
Well, you've got to say once again that Arslan getting the better of these exchanges. Alekseyev appears to finish pretty well, but it's what goes before that. Well, I'll tell you what, this is a big shot in the arm, really, isn't it, for the over 40s?
There's hope for me yet, Steve.
I don't think so, Glenn. No, of course there is. Always hope. And I suspect that's exactly what Arslan's thinking here. He's thinking there must be hope. I'm on the verge. If I win the European, I'll get myself in the top 10 world rankings. And he's hurt him, left hook.
The legs wobbled a little bit then from Alekseyev. Make no mistake about that.
And Alekseyev looks very, very ponderous to a degree, doesn't he?
He does. There's no fluidity in his shots, you know, very, very rigid at times.
And also looks like an old-time fighter, doesn't he, at times?
Finishing, you know, finishing strong, but like we say, a little bit too little, too late again, Steve.
Yes, I think you're right. Well, that's put Arslan dead level for me at 96 points to 96. You got him 2 up, I think.
I certainly got 1 up now, Steve.
Oh, you got Arslan 1 in front?
Yes.
I've got him dead level, 2 to play. Close as you like, this one. Fascinating contest. Bit of replay then, coming up from round 10. So Firat Arslan on the verge of something really big at the expense of Aleksandr Alekseyev, who's only had lost twice previously. Denis Lebedev, very decent fighter, and of course Victor Emilio Ramirez. I'll get it out in a moment.
That's easy for you to say.
So the penultimate round then, round 11. So, Aleksandr Alekseyev, without a doubt, will need to put a lot of space between him and Arslan over the last 2 rounds. Watch your heads, says referee Terry O'Connor. He's going to have to win these rounds out of sight. Glenn, am I right?
Well, it's very close. I've got him 1 round ahead. We've seen it around, you know, how just hope, Steve, that the judges again are seeing it the same way as we are.
Well, they didn't last time. One did.
They certainly didn't. But all I can do tonight is commend Arslan, because he really has gone above me on the corner. He's done exceptionally well. But he must have thought all his, like I said, right, he must have thought all his birthdays come at once when Alekseyev decided to come out and Schrader and stand toe-to-toe.
But this is a very good round so far from the Russian Alekseyev in the blue. He's picking Arslan to pieces here.
And this is something he should have done from round 1, Steve. Don't let Arslan get close. Look at the success he's having.
But and the other problem now that Alekseyev has got is if he does crack Arslan particularly hard, Arslan will grit his teeth and say, I'm so close, you're not going to put me away.
For sure, that's right.
He can walk through fire at this point, can't he?
He's buzzing. He's absolutely buzzing. And as you say, you know, he's willing to take anything just to get close and get his own shots off again.
Well, these are the sort of tactics now, long-range boxing from Alekseyev, that if he'd have exerted these tactics from, say, round 4 onwards, there would be no argument. He'd be walking it. And I think we both agree on that, Glenn, don't we?
Yeah, 100%, Steve. We've said from round, you know, from the early rounds that, you know, Alekseyev has decided to box the wrong kind of fight. He's decided to stand and trade close head-to-head with Arslan, which is the wrong thing to do. He's the bigger man, he's the more technically gifted, he's got the longer range. Why didn't he use his biggest assets and keep Arslan at the end of his jab? Instead he decided to trade, and dare I say it, very, very close.
Well, he's doing it now, but is it too late? Too little, too late, I wonder. Despite the fact that I've got them dead level, I think Alekseyev will take the lead here in the 11th. There's still one more round to go. Nice long punches.
See, this should have been done earlier on, Steve.
Well, that's a round for Alekseyev. 106 plays 105, and we've got one to go.
I've got it dead even, Steve, going into the 12th and final round.
Well, see, we're both talking a close fight, Glenn. So a bit of replay here then. Obviously, one or two swipes from Arslan, as you would have expected. But by and large, a good round for Alekseyev. Arslan has tried, but I don't think he's succeeded in that particular session.
And again, just from the shots, with the snippets we can see here, Steve, it just shows how easy this fight could have been for Alekseyev if he'd have chosen to box Arslan as opposed to stand there and trade.
Yes, it's a fascinating contest, and we're coming now to the climax.
But the crowd here tonight, they're loving this, Steve. They've had more than their money's worth tonight.
Absolutely right, Glenn. So, Glenn Catley, who's your money on? Difficult, isn't it?
It certainly is, Steve. I've got it, dead even, dead even.
Well, I've got Alekseyev 1 point in front with 1 round to go. This is the 12th and final round. Fascinating contest between these two men. And as you've heard Glenn and I say, that Alekseyev decided to fight this one nose to nose over the first 10 rounds, and got things right in the 11th. But is it too little too late? I wonder.
Just listen to that crowd, Steve. They're going absolutely ballistic here tonight.
Well, this is so un-Germanic, isn't it, Glenn? You know,
It certainly is. They're normally the most hospitable, the most polite crowd ever. But they're loving it here tonight.
Yeah, they don't make a lot of noise normally. Come on, Glenn, talk us through what they're going through now.
Well,
you've been there.
They're just digging deep now. This is when it comes down to who can dig the deepest. This is just about, you know, this is a psychological game now, Steve. Who wants it the most?
Well, don't forget, of course, Alekseyev is the reigning and defending European champion. And, you know, he wants to keep that.
That's right, that's right. No doubt them 41-year-old legs from Arslan, they must be feeling that, you know, they must be feeling it a little bit now.
Or maybe he's feeling like a teenager. Well, we've got just over a minute to find out.
Right, here we go, step back, what's the edge?
Fascinating contest, this one. Really hard fought, well fought. And Terry O'Connor has done a good job, as ever. Oh, Glenn, I tell you what, I just haven't got a clue at this stage in this last round. I mean, that's a slip again.
It just goes to show, Steve, how much this title means to both fighters.
Well, it's the win as well, isn't it? Not just the title.
Absolutely. They're both giving it their all. They give 100% tonight, both of them. And when they wake up tomorrow, make no mistake, both fighters are going to be incredibly sore and incredibly stiff.
Absolutely. Tonight, of course, that will not be the case. Well, it might be for the loser, but not the winner. And who will that be? We're about to find out in less than half a minute.
That's right. It's fights like this, Steve, it makes it a shame that we have to, you know, we have to pick a winner.
It's a shame there has to be a loser, really. Because neither man deserves to lose. So who will he get the last round to, Glenn?
For me, Alekseyev's done enough in the last round, Steve. The more eye-catching words certainly come from him.
Well, I tell you what, I'll have to go with you. I've got it 116, 114.
116, 115 in favour of Alekseyev for me, Steve.
Well, I've gone for him as well, but by a single point. You've gone by a 2-point margin. Now, if we go on the experience of the previous contest, they will definitely go for Firat Arslan.
No, I've got it 1 point difference, Steve. 116 to Alekseyev, 115 Arslan.
Yeah, I've got it at 1 point. Yeah, I've got it 116, 114. So, you know, but as I say, going on the previous contest, Glenn, they are not going to go for Alekseyev. Will he retain his European crown or not? It was a right tough fight to call.
It really, really was, you know.
And, you know, Glenn, let me ask you, if it does go Arslan's way, could we complain?
Not at all, Steve. You know, what a great return this would make. I think they'd sell out any venue in Germany for sure, you know, if this fight could take place again. Because, like I say, the crowd here tonight have had more than their money's worth.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll virtually guarantee no return. Would you want to do that again?
Well,
yeah,
no.
You would. You're crazy.
No, not then. No, not then. I'm telling you, no, not then.
So Terry O'Connor then, who's trying to get through here without an interpreter. Don't forget, he's got a deep Brummie accent. Well, that was a cracking fight, and it could well be a draw, you know.
It could well be, but you know, in fairness to Arslan, he's 41 years of age. Dare I say it, going into this fight, Steve, he was perhaps, you know, he wasn't expected to win this fight, but for me, he's gone above and beyond the call of duty. So in many respects, Steve, for me, he's gained if he does lose, he's gained in defeat, because perhaps I'm writing him off too prematurely, but if he does lose, you know, he hasn't lost, because in effect, if he does lose, he's going to gain in defeat.
Well, I reckon we could be looking at a majority verdict here from what I've just been hearing. I think 2 judges have called it a draw and 1 has gone for the other, so that's a majority decision.
Okay.
I think he's going to go for the draw, but I don't know. I'm going to have to wait and see, like all of you at home. Cracking fight. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And a draw wouldn't be a bad result. But would they want to do it again? I certainly wouldn't. I'd love to see it again.
100%, Steve.
Here we go. Terry O'Connor wants both boxers in the middle of the ring for the official verdict. Well, Aleksandr Alekseyev came in European champion. Will he go out the same way? I don't know. It was as close as you could possibly want, in our opinion. And we're about to find out officially what the tally is.
We certainly are, that, Steve. Is he going to include the vacant WBO Intercontinental title as well?
Well, no. If it's a draw, he won't.
Wir haben einen tollen Kampf gesehen. Knappes Ergebnis und erstmal ein Riesenapplaus für Firat Arslan und Aleksandr Alekseyev.
Absolutely right. Yeah, put your hands together for these two. They deserve it.
Und nun, meine Damen und Herren, liebe Boxerfreunde, wird es sehr, sehr spannend, kann ich Ihnen versprechen. Wir gehen zu den Scorecards. We go to the scorecards. Manuel Oliver Palomo, 114, 114, 114, 114.
Draw. 114 each.
Jürgen Langos, 116, 113, 116, 113.
116, 113 for Alekseyev. Now, I've got a feeling the other judge has gone for Arslan.
114, 114, 114, 114 und damit ist
it's a draw, it's a majority draw. It's a majority draw. Well, there you go, and I'll tell you what, Glenn, you can't argue with that. So he's still the champion, Alekseyev, but Firat Arslan took him exceptionally close there.
He certainly did.
One judge had Alekseyev winning by 3 points. The other 2 had it dead level at 6 rounds each.
Yeah, well, we said earlier on, Steve, it's unfortunate that there had to be a loser tonight. In many respects, that's exactly what's happened, you know. But you know, Arslan, in fairness to him, like I said, if he didn't get the decision, all he's really done tonight is gain in defeat, because he can go home and certainly hold his head up high. Because listen, he drew the fight. It was a great fight, and he'd come here and give it his all.
Absolutely right. So a cracking fight. There's my old mate there, Marcel Nart's in the ring as well, and so many people here that we know. And I tell you what, it's been a belting fight. Just reminded the scores: 114 twice, and 113, 116 to Alekseyev on one judge's card. And I tell you what, you can't argue with that, really. It was one of those fights that could have gone either way. And well, here's some of the highlights. You know, it was just a fantastic contest anyway. And my thanks to Glenn Catley. Glenn, it's been a belter.
I don't mind coming in to watch fights like this, Steve. This is fantastic stuff. And the question is, Steve, will we ever see these two in the ring together again?
I don't think so. I think Arslan's going to announce his retirement. Well, there you are. That's the end of our boxing. My thanks for you to join us, and my thanks to Glenn Catley. Take care, and we'll see you soon. All the best. Take care. Good night.